Throughout history, many spiritual traditions have offered a profound understanding of life's cyclical nature. Central to these teachings is the belief in reincarnation, the soul's continuous journey through multiple lifetimes, each one designed to foster growth, learning, and eventual liberation. From the ancient wisdom of Hinduism and Buddhism to the mystic teachings of Hermeticism and Gnostic Christianity, the concept of reincarnation has been a cornerstone of spiritual philosophy. This journey of the soul is not just a tale of endless repetition, but a purposeful path where karma, free will, and spiritual evolution intertwine. Each life is a chance for the soul to experience and evolve, overcoming challenges, embracing virtues, and ultimately transcending the cycle of birth and death. In this article, we will explore the nature of reincarnation, the lessons embedded in each incarnation, and the path that leads to moksha or nirvana, the liberation from the cycle of samsara. The soul's journey through reincarnation. Since the dawn of time, the soul has wandered, a traveler through the endless spiral of existence, bound not by one lifetime, but by many. Each incarnation is a chapter in an ancient book, written not with ink, but with choices, emotions, and the hidden whispers of destiny. This sacred journey is not a random occurrence, but part of a vast and intricate design known as the Wheel of Life, a timeless cycle echoed in ancient Eastern traditions as samsara. Here, the soul does not merely live. It learns, forgets, remembers, and transforms. Each lifetime presents a carefully chosen landscape. The people we meet, the struggles we endure, the love we give and receive. None of it is accidental. All is orchestrated to awaken the soul from slumber, to guide it one step closer to its original brilliance. Through this divine choreography, karma acts not as a judge, but as a mirror, revealing what must be healed. And free will, the sacred gift, allows the soul to choose how it dances through each storm or sunlight, crafting its path with each heartbeat. Sometimes the soul rises, other times it falls. But always it evolves, moving in spirals, not lines, repeating patterns until they are mastered, relived until they are redeemed. Through lifetimes as the healer and the wounded, the seeker and the lost, the soul begins to glimpse its purpose, to remember its true nature and return, finally, to the infinite source from which it came. Purposeful incarnations and karma. Before we are born, before breath, before name, the soul stands at the edge of the veil, peering into the world it is about to enter. It does not come blindly, chooses. With the wisdom of countless lifetimes, the soul selects the body it will wear, the family it will join, the joys and wounds it will encounter. Each choice is woven with intention. This is not fate. It is a sacred agreement, whispered into existence in realms unseen. The soul understands that growth is rarely found in ease. So, it chooses challenges not as punishment, but as catalysts. That difficult parent, that impossible love, that painful betrayal. They are not accidents, but mirrors, instruments of karma, echoing from previous lifetimes, returning not to harm, but to balance, to teach, to awaken. Karma is not a curse. It is a compass, a silent, mystical force that brings us face to face with what we have sown, both light and shadow. It invites us to see beyond victimhood, to recognize our own hand in the patterns of our lives. And in doing so, it offers the soul a gift, the chance to rewrite the story, to break the cycle, to rise. With every incarnation, the soul grows wiser. It learns compassion from pain, strength from loss, and grace from surrender. These purposeful lives are not burdens, they are blessings wrapped in disguise. Through them, the soul slowly remembers. It is not here to suffer, but to evolve, and to love more deeply each time it returns. Soul contracts and sacred agreements. Long before the first cry of birth echoes through the world, in a realm untouched by time, souls gather in sacred circles of light. Here, beyond the veil of memory, they speak not in words, but in vibration, pure knowing. In this ethereal space, soul contracts are made. Not contracts of paper and ink, but bonds of energy and promise. You see, no one enters your life by accident. That friend who arrives just when you need them, the lover who breaks your heart open, even the stranger who wounds you deeply. They were all part of the plan. Chosen, agreed upon. These souls are your sacred mirrors, playing roles in your unfolding journey, just as you play roles in theirs. Some souls vow to walk beside you in joy, to remind you of your light. Others agree to challenge you, to awaken strength, to push you toward your higher self. These are not punishments, but gifts wrapped in shadows. The pain they cause is not cruelty, it is alchemy, transformation. And though we forget these agreements upon birth, like waking from a dream, we feel their pull in the quiet moments. A strange sense of déjà vu, an unexplainable connection, a deep soul ache that words cannot name. These are echoes of the promises made before this life began. To remember your soul contracts is to reclaim your power. It is to understand that nothing is random. Everything is woven with intention, and every encounter is a sacred thread in the grand tapestry of your awakening. Karma and free will as tools for growth. In the cosmic dance of existence, karma and free will twirl together like ancient lovers, each guiding, each yielding, each shaping the path of the soul. Karma is not a punishment, nor a reward. It is memory imprinted in the soul's essence, echoes of choices made in lifetimes long past. It is the soil we return to, rich with seeds we ourselves once planted. But do not mistake karma as fate set in stone, for beside it stands free will, the sacred flame gifted to every soul. With it, we choose again. We choose differently. We evolve. Imagine your life as a vast river. Karma may shape the current, stirring storms or bringing stillness, depending on how the soul has danced before. Yet it is free will that places your hands on the oar. You may drift, you may resist, or you may steer toward the light with courage. Each moment, then, becomes a doorway, a chance to transcend the cycles of old. You are not trapped by your past. You are invited to understand it. The pain you endure may echo from old wounds, but your response to it? That is yours to choose. That is where growth lives. The soul rejoices when you use your freedom to meet karma with awareness. For in doing so, you shift not only your destiny, but the very thread of the universe. And so the story unfolds, guided by the past, empowered in the present, ever dancing toward the soul's return to light. The physical world as a learning ground. Once, before you wore a name and a face, your soul stood at the edge of the veil, peering into the realm of form. It knew what awaited: joy and sorrow, loss and reunion, light and shadow woven into every breath. And still, it chose to descend. Why? Because Earth, with all its chaos and beauty, is the sacred school of the soul. Here, in the density of matter, lessons become real. Not just ideas, not whispers in the wind, but experiences carved into time. The soul learns not only what love is, but what it means to love through pain. It learns not only patience, but how to sit in silence when the world demands reaction. It learns not only forgiveness, but how to release the chains of betrayal and walk free. The body, the mind, the heart, they are the soul's instruments. Through their music, harmony, or dissonance, the soul awakens. Each challenge, each encounter, is a mirror held up by the universe, reflecting some hidden part of you, waiting to be known, healed, embraced. Yes, this world can be cruel, but it is not a punishment. It is a classroom cloaked in mystery. Even suffering is a teacher, whispering truths only the brave can hear. And when the soul tires, when it forgets, the stars still watch in silence, knowing this too is part of the learning. For Earth is not exile, it is initiation, a sacred journey of remembering who you truly are, one lesson at a time. Reincarnation planning. Long before your first breath, long before the stars marked your time of arrival, your soul sat at the sacred table of planning. Not alone, but surrounded by ancient guides, soul companions, and the silent wisdom of the universe itself. Together, they wove the blueprint of a life you chose. With eyes that saw beyond time, your soul reviewed past journeys. Patterns emerged, wounds unhealed, lessons unfinished. You saw where you had been the wounded and where you had wounded others. And so, with courage only the eternal possess, You said, "Let me return. Let me learn. Let me grow." You chose your body, not perfect, but perfect for the mission. You selected your parents, allies and adversaries alike, all agreeing to play their roles with sacred precision. Even those who would break your heart were chosen, not for cruelty, but for the depth of transformation they would stir. Certain crossroads were written in ink, moments of awakening, loss, love, change. Yet around these were wide open spaces, where free will would dance with fate, where you could shape your path through choices made in the fire of experience. No, you did not come here by accident. You came with intention, with purpose. You entered the veil knowing you would forget, so that remembering would become your journey. And now, as life unfolds in its mysterious rhythm, fragments of that ancient plan stir in your dreams, déjà vu, and deep longings, reminding you, you chose this, and you are never alone. Soul contracts and soul groups, in the unseen realms, before you took form in the world of matter, your soul made sacred agreements, woven into the very fabric of existence. These were not mere promises. They were soul contracts, forged with the deepest of intentions. You were not alone in this cosmic dance. Your soul belonged to a greater collective, a soul group bound by time, fate, and mutual evolution. Within this divine web, you and others who shared your essence entered into agreements. Souls who would be your companions, your challengers, your mirrors across the ages. Some would walk with you as family, others as friends, and still others as the faces of your deepest trials. The pain they may cause, the love they will offer, all had been chosen before the veil of forgetfulness descended. You may have met some of these souls many times before, in lives long past, and yet their roles may change with each incarnation. A father today could have been your rival in a past life. A sister today, a healer in another. The connections between you are not random but sacred, each bond playing its part in your spiritual growth. And even in the midst of challenge, you are not betrayed. For each soul, whether adversary or ally, carries a piece of the puzzle you came here to solve. The soul contracts you made are not chains but keys, unlocking the deepest lessons of love, forgiveness, and transformation. Together, you are writing the story of awakening, one life, one lesson at a time. Pre-incarnation consciousness. Before the breath of life entered your body, before the first flicker of your existence upon this earthly plane, your soul lingered in a place of pure knowing, a realm beyond time, beyond space. In this sacred dimension, you were not bound by the limitations of the material world. There was no weight of flesh, no ticking of the clock, only the vast expanse of infinite possibilities. Here, in the stillness of pre-incarnation consciousness, your soul stood at the threshold of a grand new journey. You reviewed the lessons of past lives, feeling the echoes of karma long carried. You recognized the unfinished business, the bonds yet to be healed, and the growth yet to be achieved. Every choice, every twist in the path, was contemplated with the wisdom of the ages. But this knowledge was not imposed upon you by an external force. It came from the deepest wellspring of your being. You, the divine architect of your own fate, chose the challenges, the body, the family, and the experiences that would shape your journey. You called upon the assistance of spiritual guides, wise, luminous beings who helped you see the grand tapestry of existence, guiding you to make decisions that would best serve your soul's evolution. In this sacred planning, your soul embraced the veil of forgetfulness that would soon descend upon you, allowing you to experience life as an unknown adventure. And with that, the sacred dance of life began, filled with the promise of transformation, awakening, and the unfolding of your divine potential. The path to liberation. As your soul journeys through the many cycles of birth and death, a quiet yearning begins to stir within you, a call from the deepest part of your being. It is not the call of earthly desires, nor the longing for material gain. It is the sacred whisper of liberation, echoing softly through the chambers of your spirit. The path you walk is not one of linear time, but a spiral, twisting and turning as you seek to transcend the illusions of the physical world. Every life you live, every challenge you face, every tear that falls, and every victory won, All are part of the great alchemy of your soul's awakening. The cycle of reincarnation, with all its suffering and joy, is but a tool, a divine mechanism set in motion to help you remember who you truly are. Through each experience, you shed the layers of illusion, the false sense of separation, and come ever closer to the realization of your unity with the divine. In this sacred journey, compassion becomes your guiding light, wisdom your steady companion, and love your sacred truth. As you learn to dissolve the karmic chains that bind you, the need for reincarnation wanes. You begin to transcend the cycle not out of escape, but through understanding, through the embrace of your divine nature. Liberation is not an end, but a return to the source, to the vast ocean of pure consciousness. And there, in the stillness, you are free, forever one with the divine. Role of enlightened masters. In the silent realms beyond the veil, where time dances in circles and the truth of the universe unfolds like a celestial tapestry, there exists a rare breed of souls, those who have journeyed through countless lifetimes, shed the illusions of the material world, and returned to the light. These enlightened beings are the guiding stars, the beacons of wisdom that illuminate the path for those still lost in the labyrinth of existence. They are the avatars, the sages, the mystics, souls like Buddha, Jesus, Krishna, and countless others who have transcended the human experience and walked the earth in divine service. Their bodies may have been born of flesh, but their essence is one with the source, and through them, the divine whispers its eternal truths to the world. Their lives are not lived for personal gain, but for the awakening of humanity. They are not here to accumulate knowledge, but to serve as conduits for the sacred light, offering glimpses of the truth to those who are ready to see. With each step they take, they create ripples in the fabric of reality, transforming the world in ways unseen but deeply felt. Yet, these masters ask nothing in return. They do not seek recognition or adoration, for their only desire is to awaken others to their own divinity. Through their presence, their teachings, and their loving guidance, they show us the way home, to the source of all, where true freedom and eternal peace reside.